It was a quiet Tuesday afternoon. It just finished walking the property line behind the row of identical beige houses, clipboard in hand, survey stakes still visible from the recent inspection. I was dressed casually, jeans, boots, and old flannel. Nothing that screamed authority. That's probably why she felt confident enough to march straight toward me. "You," she snapped, sunglasses already halfway down her nose. "What do you think you're doing?" I smiled politely. "Just checking my land." She logged. Not amused, mocking. "You're trespassing." "This is Willow Ridge. Private HOA property." "I don't believe it is," I said calmly. "I'm not in your HOA." That's when her face hardened. "I'm the HOA president," she said, pointing back at the house like a general gesturing at her army. "And you don't get to just walk around here because you feel like it, Guy." "I'm not here because I feel like it," I replied. "I'm here because I own this land." Her mouth actually dropped open for a second, then she scoffed. "Oh, this is cute. Another one." "Another what?" "Another liar," she said. "We get people like you sometimes. Contractors. Bloggers. Weirdos with drones." She pulled out her phone. "You have 10 seconds to leave before I call the cops." I didn't move. She yelled. "Ludley. I need police assistance," she said, pacing dramatically. "There's a man trespassing in our community, refusing to leave, claiming he owns the property." She hung up and smirked. "You're done." I leaned against my truck and waited. The other neighbors had started to notice by now. Curtains shifted. Garage doors paused halfway open. A few people stepped onto porches pretending to check their mail. How drama was better than cable. When the police cruiser rolled in, the HOA president nearly skipped over to it. "There he is," she said, pointing at me. "He says he owns the land. He's harassing residents." The officer looked at me. "Sir, is that true?" "I do own the land," I said evenly. "And am not harassing anyone." The HOA president laughed again. "Ask him for proof. He won't have any." I reached into my truck and pulled out a folded document. "County deed transfer. Finalized last Friday." The officer took it, eyebrows lifting slightly as he read. The HOA president crossed her arms. "That doesn't mean anything. The HOA owns Willow Ridge. Always has." The officer turned to her. "Ma'am, this deed shows he owns the underlying parcel for the entire subdivision." Silence. She blinked. "That's impossible." The officer nodded slowly. "Looks like the previous landholding company sold the land." "That company went bankrupt," she said quickly. "The HOA took over." The officer shook his head. "No record of that. This sale is clean." I finally spoke again. "I didn't say I own your houses. You own those. But the land beneath them? Roads. Green space. Drainage. That's mine." Her face went pale. "That means," she started. "It means," the officer said gently, "you're standing on his property." She took a step back without realizing it. But our HOA rules still apply to members," I said. "I'm not one." The officer handed the deed back to me. "Sir, you're free to continue." As the cruiser pulled away, the HOA president stared at me like she was looking at a ghost. "This isn't over," she whispered. I smiled. I said. "It's just beginning." By the next morning, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. The HOA board wanted an emergency meeting. The property management company wanted clarification. A lawyer left me a voicemail that started polite and ended desperate. I agreed to attend the meeting, but only as a guest. The room was packed. Every board member sat stiffly behind the folding table, legal pads untouched. The HOA president looked like she hadn't slept. She cleared her throat. "We misunderstood the situation yesterday." I nodded. "You called the police on your landlord." Her jaw tightened. "You are not our landlord." I slid a printed lease agreement across the table. "You are currently leasing the land through a legacy easement contract. One that transferred with the sale." The lawyer picked it up, scanned it, then froze. This is valid, he muttered. The room erupted. So he controls the roads, the green spaces, the clubhouse, the drainage ponds. Yes, I said calmly. And the parking areas. The whole president stood up. You can't do this. We have rules. Authority. You do, I said. Over members. Not over me. The lawyer cleared his throat. There's also unpaid land-lease fees. The HOA hasn't paid in 8 months. The room went dead silent. How much? Someone asked. I answered. With penalties. Enough to hurt. The president turned on the lawyer. Why didn't we know about this? He didn't answer. I stood. I didn't come here to evict anyone. I came to introduce myself. And, she demanded. And to let you know that harassment, false police reports, and unauthorized enforcement on my property won't continue. So what do you want? She snapped. I smiled. Professional behavior. A revised lease. And a public apology. She scoffed. Or what? Or I stop renewing easements. Roads. Parking. Utilities access. I shrugged. Perfectly legal. The lawyer swallowed hard. I recommend compliance. 2 days later, a notice went out to every homeowner. The whole president issued a written apology. And for the first time in Willow Ridge history, the whole learned a painful lesson. You should always check the deed before calling the cops on the person who owns the ground beneath your feet.